Welcome back to the Sales Gravy Podcast, and it's Wisdom Wednesday where you drive the agenda, because on this segment of the Sales Gravy Podcast, you bring your biggest sales challenges and Jeb Blount delivers his best answers. And those answers, they come straight from the trenches because Jeb's not just teaching sales, he's out there prospecting, closing, and leading sales teams every single day. So let's take that next caller.
Next up on the show is Matthew Feit from Toms River, New Jersey. Matthew, what is going on in New Jersey? And I think you guys are also in Tampa, Florida.
Yes. Good morning, Jeb. Thank you. Big fan, by the way. I'm happy to be here. And my experience is one of having really a luxury problem today. My main issue is that, let's say you've climbed the sales mountain, so to speak. You've had success. You're doing well without being too arrogant, with the most humility possible. I'm doing all right. What is next to motivate me and to discipline me to keep making new connections, finding that next new client, keeping the pipeline full when things are well financially?
Yeah.
What would you do there?
It's a great question. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. I had this guy that worked for me down in Florida. His name was Jim. And he was a great sales rep, and he made a lot of money. He was top of the ranking report. He hit President's Club, took home trophies, had a Rolex on his arm from winning. And one day I get a call from his director of sales, and they want to discipline him, fire him, put him on a PIP, right? Which in that world was an RIP. You get a PIP, you're dead man walking. And I'm like, wait a minute. This guy's like a superstar. Why would we get rid of him? We're just not selling anything. I drove up to Jacksonville. I was in Florida at the time. And he came in the room. We had his sales manager there, his director of sales there, sitting down with him. And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, you're really good. I mean, this is like super painful to be having this conversation with you. These two jokers are on you every single day that you need to go sell more, and you're not selling anything. What in the world is going on? And as he starts explaining his situation and talking to me, what I realized was that he was kind of in the same place that you are in terms of asking this question. He had climbed the mountain. Like, he had won everything that was possible. He had sold everything, and he just didn't have like the next goal. And if you just think about selling and you're super successful, I just want to let the cat out of the bag. I mean, you're making 7 figures a year in sales. Like, that's a different animal. Like, that's massive. Okay. Most people aren't doing that. From a financial standpoint, you're completely set. And Jim was too, by the way, just completely set. And he just didn't have anything that was driving him. But the thing is the things that we do in sales are hard. They're repetitive. They're difficult. We have to deal with a lot of difficult people. And it takes a lot of discipline. And discipline is defined simply as sacrificing what you want now, easy, for what you want most, hard. And you've already done that, right? You made those sacrifices early on in your career to get where you are today.
That's how I feel, Jim. It's like, yesterday was the grind phase.
Yep.
And today I'm kind of, I feel like there's not many more stones to unturn.
Yep.
So what's next? What's next for me?
So
Jeb?
here's what I asked Jim. Like, I just asked this question. I'm like, what is it that you want? Like, what do you want? Now, his answer was interesting. Like, it's probably not your answer, but he's like, I want a Harley Davidson. And I'm like, well, why don't you just go buy it? And he goes, my wife won't let me buy it.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, so you want a Harley. We're talking about like 30 grand for the Harley, and your
Sure.
wife won't let you buy it. And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, like, what if we could find a way so that you could give your wife what she wants, because she just wants all your money, and what you wanted was a Harley Davidson? He goes, that would be interesting. And so I was able to work out a way of giving him his commission check for the Harley. I had a conversation with his wife. Crazy it is. Had a conversation with her, smooth things over there. He's still going to be bringing the money home so we can have a Harley. And suddenly all of his sales went through the roof again because he had a goal. Like, he had something that was driving him. That's the problem. Like, the problem is that you get to a point where you've accomplished everything, and somehow or another, like when you were younger or earlier in your career, you were probably sitting down and sketching out all your goals. Like, I remember in my career, and I still have the same book. I had a goal book, and I would write down my goals every year. Like, one of my goals was to have a house on the Intercoastal Waterway in South Florida. So,
Sure.
I achieved that goal, right? And then one day I'm like, well, what do I do now? And it's easy to get comfortable because you don't know where you go. But then, like, what you've got right now is a level of cognitive dissonance because you're a stone cold stud high achiever. And part of you is like, I need to go be achieving. And the other part of you is like, well, I don't feel it anymore. Like I don't have that juice that was driving me before.
What I struggle with, Jeb, is not wanting, tangible assets. I just bought a vacation home in Puerto Rico. And the truth is, I wish I had more time to just chill out there. But there's always this force within me kind of driving me like, hey, push harder, start something new, get that next client, that next big check. And those things have come to me pretty, I hate to say it, but it's gotten easier, or it hasn't gotten harder over the years. With the more experience you have, you have to work less and produce more. Believe it or not, I just need to define my next goal and my next want, because it's not money.
Yeah, the question is, what do you want? So I'm in the same position you are. Like, and I got your question. I'm like, I hit that wall this year. Like, I have spent 20 years building this business. Brand new book sitting here that comes out in a couple of weeks. I hit a wall where, like, what is it? What my wants are not things. And they've never been things. Like, I say never been things. In my 20s and 30s, it was things like what I'm going to own. But today it's just not. So now I'm like, okay, what do I want to accomplish? What do I want to do? So some of it is I like to write books. Like some of it is finding the things I really care about. You just said, I want more time. Like, how do I get more time? So if I had more time, what would I do with it? But the thing about a guy like you is that if you get more time to hang out in your vacation home in Puerto Rico, you're going to be there for like 10 days and then you're going to be going out of your mind because you know that you're not living up to your potential or your purpose.
It's true.
Right. So now you got to say, what is it that I really want to do? And this is where I've come to. I'm in an enviable position. 20 years ago, when I started this business, I was sitting in my house in Florida making cold calls. I was banging the phone, calling everybody I knew, and I did that for years. Today, my phone rings off the hook. The biggest problem I have is that I have to tell people, no, I can't help you because I don't have enough time. But then it's like, what do I really want? What I really want is I want to work with people and companies that I know I can help, that are a challenge for me, that I can watch them grow and I can enjoy seeing them grow, who really want to work with me, right? Who see me as part of their organization, not as a vendor. So I'm in the position where I get to pick and choose what I want. So what I did this year was start arranging my world and my life so that I'm able to be very picky about what I'm going to do, who I'm going to work with, who I'm going to speak to, and do things that give me joy and fulfill my purpose, because I have a purpose, and that is to help people sell more. That's why God put me here. I believe it in my heart. I'm not in a place now where I want to help everybody. I just want to help the right people and the people I want to work with. For you, like, you got to go have that conversation with yourself and with other people. Like, what am I really good at? And where can I make a difference in the world beyond just selling? Because like you said, when I say it's hard, the stuff we have to do, the repetitive stuff you have to do, it's gotten boring. Like, that's why it's hard for you now, because it's so easy that you can just do it. But if you don't know what you're sacrificing for anymore, you just go, this just doesn't do it for me.
Pre-COVID and stuff like that, my life revolved around constant, chasing sales down. It was great, but maybe I could take a page out of your book. I like to believe, somewhat of a unique story. And I would love to take the time, write down some of these things, work with a company that has the experience in this, and maybe do my own piece of literature. I'm not a writer by any means, although I love reading. And, if I had unlimited time, I would really just sit here and read, learn, and learn from the experience of others. So maybe that's a move for me in the near future.
If I go back to, I'm not sure how old you are, but I was
Gonna be 35
great.
soon.
When I was your age, right? So I'm between 30, 35, and 40. I was at the pinnacle of my corporate career, like the very top of the top. And I had a sort of this aha moment that I wasn't happy with what I was doing, because primarily I was going to meetings, and a lot of meetings. I was flying all over the country going to meetings. It wasn't really doing anything for me. And I really wanted to write a book. That was like the shift for me. So I wrote my first book on Power Principles way back when I was 38 and 39 years old. I was thinking about when I was 35. When I was 38, I just said, I'm going to stop thinking about it and start doing it. I sold a bunch of copies of that book, but let me tell you something. It wasn't a great book. Like, it stunk.
Mhm.
And
I'm gonna check it out.
yeah, I read it now. I'm embarrassed by it, but it was like my story. Like, it was just like what you were saying. It was my story. It was the beginning. But I also made a goal. Like, I set a goal. I'm going to write 5 books in 5 years. Get this book, LinkedIn Edge, is number 17. Think about that,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So I've written a book almost every single year since then. I wrote that book in 2007. So almost every year I've written a book. We're getting close. But for me, like, that was the beginning and I had to do it. And it wasn't great. Like, I wasn't a good writer and I didn't know how to write very well. 17 books later and well over 1 million words. I'm not a bad writer anymore, and I'm a much better editor than I used to be. But that became my new goal. And here's what I did. Back when I was a little bit older than you, but not much older, I looked at my life and I said, what are the next 20 years going to be like? Because I had won every award you could win in sales. I was operating at the top level of a Fortune 200 company. Every accolade, money, all those things, all that had been done. I asked that simple question, what am I going to do over the next 20 years? And what I did over the next 20 years was completely change my life. Everything changed. Everything shifted. And I'm in the same boat now. Like, I'm looking ahead now and going, okay, so what am I going to do for the next 20 years? How am I going to reshape things? So this next year, I'm reshaping the way that I go to market with myself by getting laser focused on doing only the things that really like jazz me up and make me feel good about what I'm doing. And I'm going to build a team of people around me that can do all the other things that they'll be happy doing, but I just don't want to do anymore. I would say sit down and like do that map and go, if I was looking ahead at myself when I'm 55 years old, 20 years from now,
Mhm.
what would it look like? You will be amazed, almost like surreal to look back at where I was when I was your age and look at where I am today and think about all those changes and what drove me. And those things drove me for a very long time until I hit a wall last year, like into last year, and said, okay, this isn't doing it for me anymore. I've got to shift.
That's a great question. And I'm so focused. What I've learned is focusing so far in the future can be overwhelming, because I like to live in the day, know what I have to execute right now to be successful. And I haven't gone and done that. Like you said with those goals, like I've had many goals achieved, surpassed, and when you surpass the goal, you really sit back and you're like, wow, did I did I aim big enough? That's an amazing idea. Over the next, couple weeks, I'm gonna sit down and really think what, if we're the architect of our own life, where do I want to be in 20 years? And I'm not a person that wants to be, famous or anything like that. I want to have a peaceful life, but what could I do that could make an impact?
Yeah.
And, you know, you seem to love helping people. I love helping people too. And maybe just share a little bit of my story. I don't know yet, but I guess that's the journey and the beauty of the process.
It is. I love that path for you. Look, man, you got everything that it takes to do whatever you want to do, and you know that already. So yeah, go have that conversation with yourself. Look down, and by the way, it's not so much about what you want to achieve; it's about who you want to be, and like look at it that way. And I want to be clear. I didn't like when I was 38 years old. Go, this is where I want to be when I'm 58 years old. I didn't know what that vision was. I just knew that I was going to change my life over the next 20 years and I was going to make a massive impact over the next 20 years. If you'd asked me then, would I be doing what I'm doing now? I had no way of envisioning where I am today, but it's the process of, like you said, the journey that gets you there. The vision was I'm going to make a massive impact on the world in this period of time. It wasn't about being famous. It wasn't about any of those things. It was just like you said, I like helping people. That's what I wanted to do. And the only thing I know how to do is sell. So I didn't really have a whole lot of other options. That was just the path that I had to take.
What I've been doing recently, which has helped me see, things more clearly, is attending a lot of networking events. I was able to see Tony Robbins in Orlando, and he's a really powerful guy with his words and his message. And when's your next event? It's in Atlanta.
It's in Las Vegas. I love that
Uh
I love
oh.
that you asked me that. Thank you so much. That's You gave me an opportunity. We'll close this out with a quick commercial. So the Outbound Sales Training and Leadership Conference is going to be in Las Vegas at the Red Rock, November 9th through 12th, 2026. So not this November, next November. So we have a whole year. Tickets are on sale right now. We've got 2 days of main stage. And then on the 12th, we have a full leadership summit, so which I expect to sell out very quickly. We've already sold a ton of tickets to that. So I got a feeling those tickets are going to be gone very quickly. It's an amazing conference. There's really nothing else like it. And you mentioned Tony Robbins. I saw Tony Robbins speak in Atlanta when I was 23 years old. And that's exactly why I do what I do today, because I had the chance to see him speak, and I knew that one day that I would have an opportunity to do that. So, but thank you for asking me. I hope we'll see you there.
And count me in. I'm a person. Put it on the calendar, like you say.
Yeah. And if you want tickets, go to outboundconference.com. That's outboundconference.com.
Okay. Thank
Awesome.
you so much, Jeb.
Thanks, Matthew. See you later.
If you've got a question for the show, go to salesgravy.com/ask. That's salesgravy.com/ask, and just submit the form. One of our producers will reach out to you and get you scheduled for your session with Jeb. Now let's button this up with a final thought. What Matthew's experiencing is common for top performers, because once you've climbed the mountain, the grind feels smaller and the urgency fades. But here's the truth. Discipline dies when the why gets vague. To stay sharp, build identity-based habits around a clear next mission. Pick a concrete goal that actually excites you, not just another trophy. Define the daily minimums that protect your pipeline when the calendar gets easy, and engineer constraint with time blocks, prospecting lists, and short, repeatable call rhythms so that you never negotiate with yourself. Remember the 30-day rule. The prospecting you do in any 30-day window pays off for you in the next 90 days. That means today's small, boring touches are funding your future confidence. Recalibrate your aim. Choose what you'll be world-class at for the next season. And then show up like a pro, especially on the days when comfort whispers, you've done enough. And when it's the end of the day, when you're tired and you just want to go home, pick up the phone and make one more call. This is Jeb Blount Jr., and we'll catch you next time on the Sales Gravy Podcast.
Hey, I'm doing a happy dance because you watched this video. Make sure that you click like and subscribe so that you never miss one of our amazing sales training videos.